Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we have a special video of actually releasing some fish back into their habitat. Also, I'm going to be showing you what kind of species are in the habitat of Wild Betta smaragdinas. So you'll probably see some loaches, some Raz Boris and other small aquatic animals. So this is actually my grow out, you could say, pond. It's actually I would say about a 60 centimeter pond. I usually grow up about 100 or 200 fish in here, so I think there's about 100 fish in here. Right now I'm not actually breeding because I'm renovating this farm, so we've got all this stacked up here, and this is the last pond that I have to actually go through and see how many fish there are. We're gonna scoop them out with this net. Firstly, I'm gonna clear out all this vegetation. So what I have in here is some floating plant. Some of you may be able to ID, but if I can't ID anything when I'm speaking, I'll probably post it up on the screen for you with their scientific name. So if you want to get any of these plants, you can just find them in your local fish store. This is actually dried banana leaves or a whole branch that I put in. This helps with tannin, and it also gives a lot of hides for the fish and offers natural food for them. So you know, like bloodworms and all that will actually lay their eggs on this, and then the fish can actually feed on them. So I'm going to take all this out, and when I do so, I'm going to be scooping this up and then taking the fish from here into there. Just going to leave this here for now. This is actually where all the breeding ponds used to be. Well, we cleared this out the other day, and there's just one there, and then some ponds over there, and there's a large pond over there. They're starting to make bubble nests. This is a F1 spawn from the pairs that I got when we went collecting, and these have been strictly fed on live daphnia and mosquito larvae. So I'm just going to try and get as much as we can. We'll actually clear out the whole tank. Here, there's actually a male in here that I want to show you. Obviously their colours are not going to be like as intense because they've not been conditioned. So if I can get one for you. So these are some males and then females. This one's a male. As you can see, their colours are not as vibrant. There's a male in there. These are some of the males. If you want them to colour up, you have to actually condition them. So that means putting them in the jar, putting lots of tannin, separating the fish. Try and get every single one out. So after I finish doing this, I'll show you guys actually how many fish that we actually get from this little pond. I'm suspecting about 100 or 200, hopefully. There's another male. It's quite a large male here. Obviously colours are not really vibrant, so I'll show you how many we get. Alright, so remove all the fish. We'll leave this dry out before we set up another breeding tank. These will actually come in here in the next week or two after everything is settled. I need to clear all this up. This is actually the front of my farm. That's the fish house where all the fish are. I'll show you in another video of that, of the setup. So what we have here is a lot of gunk and all algae and everything, so we need to put some more water in this. There's actually a mango that has fallen there for quite some time from that tree there. So I need to put some more water into this, remove all this, and I'll show you how many fish that we actually have. There's a lot in here. There might not be a lot on the camera, but as you can see there. Okay, so this is the last process in actually grading. Any deformed fish that I can see with my eyes won't get released back, so any fish without a ventral or anything like that, I'll just grade out. And this has taken quite some time to do so. So these are the fish, I'll just put them here. So we have quite a lot. It's probably more than what I expected, and we have a pretty decent amount of males and females, so there's not a lot more males and females. So carefully place them here. So these have actually been medicated, and I medicate them with medicine to remove parasites, fungus, or anything that I could possibly release into the wild. So these will be basically quarantined in that grow out tank for about 2 weeks. So these are some smaller ones. Okay, so we finally finished removing all those males and females. These are really good sized fish. They're quite healthy as well. Some of them are actually bigger than some. So this one here, this one's probably the runt of the litter. Some of them smaller due to food not being enough for them. I may have put too many into the grow out tank, so they weren't getting enough food, but overall about 95% of the fry all actually look the same size, all good to go. So we have about 100, I think. So it's quite a lot. So these will actually be released into the habitat their parents came in from. These are F1, so they were bred from wild caught parents. I'm always trying to keep the bloodline as pure as possible, so I won't release any F4s or any higher generations that I've been breeding, because I want to keep it as natural as possible from what their parents were. So I didn't grade or select the parents for their colors or anything to do with their fins. I just basically took them from the habitat, bred them, and then this is the result. So these fish are as natural as I could possibly make them, and that's quite a lot, as you can see. So this is a good batch. So I don't actually have a bag. I looked and tried to find a large bag, but we didn't have any, so we're going to put it all in this jar, and we're going to close the lid and then travel to where we're going to release them. Some of you may be wondering how come these are not fighting, because one, they've been growing up with each other, and two, they're pretty stressed out obviously from moving and being taken from their grow out. However, some of them have started to colour up. That's this one's quite nice, pretty nice colour on him. So I'll start filming again when we get to the habitat. Okay, so we have just arrived. I haven't been here in a few months since I last came in to release some fish. The place is pretty much overgrown. The water actually comes out to about here. This habitat actually looks really good. It looks like it's thriving. So all of that over there is actually fern, and underneath it it's actually it's just their roots, so it's floating on like water. So if you walk over there, it will just be like a marshy kind of grassland. I will actually take you into some of that to see how the root system and everything work. This plant here, I'll show you also. Any species of plants and life form or aquatic fish, I'll put the scientific name on the screen when I actually show them off. So I'll be going in here trying to catch different species of fish to show you what's actually living with wild bettas. So for anyone who's looking into making a wild betta tank, you guys can actually try and find these fish and then add them to your community tank. So before we actually get into the main part of the video, just let me tell you guys more about wild bettas and where they actually live amongst all this grassland and all the foliage and everything. So you may think that the wild bettas will actually thrive and live all in open water, like around in the middle. They actually don't. They usually live in the actual edge of the pond or habitat that they're in, amongst the foliage that hangs on the edge, because it offers them a really good coverage from predators and everything else. So there's my wife just walking over there, so I'll zoom in around the edges. So this is like here, like where they'll actually be, around this edge here. You won't really find much in the middle. When they breed, they'll come to the edge, spawn, protect about 3 to 4 foot of territory, and any other males or fish that come near them will actually get chased out. So people say, oh yeah, bettas actually live in deep water and thrive in open space. They actually don't, because they prefer, you know, their own small territory, and that's not really too big. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to release some fry here, release some over there, so they're spread out a bit. I don't want to just release them in one space, because the males may end up fighting each other. So on estimate, I'm guessing about 100 fry, or adults as I should call them now. Some females, some males. So I'm just going to walk down here, trying to film this with one hand once again. So the water actually looks really dirty, but it isn't. It's actually crystal clear filtration by thousands and thousands of plants. So you don't have to worry about, you know, this place being so stagnant and everything. The pH here is, last time I checked, was about 4.8 if I can remember. I'll actually show you guys how clear the water is, because you can see it through the bottom. If I just let go of some of these guys here, and hopefully they'll find their own ways. So I've released, there we go, you can see there's one there, there's another one there. Not sure if you can get it, there's a lot of glare on the camera, but they'll find their own way. So I'm just going to walk around. Release some here as well. Oh, there's actually a lot of Raz Boris here. I'll try to get a video of them. Oh, you can't see them. I'll show them later on. Okay, so I walked over to this side. Oh, there's some Raz Boris here, really small fish. I really can't get a good shot of them, but we'll release some fish here, the last bit. There we go. So they'll just make their way around the whole pond and just live their life. So in about 2 months or so, it'll be raining season. That's when these guys will actually breed. So right now is the perfect time to release them, just to get them in preparation for the breeding season. Hopefully this habitat will stay quite a lot. It's quite a large habitat actually. It reaches all the way over there. And this is where we just walked from. And that's where I just released the fish. So let's get into the next video where we catch these Raz Boris, and I'll show you guys what they look like and all the other fish that I may be able to catch in this habitat. You can see some Raz Boris in here, so I'll try to catch 1 or 2 and try and see if my net's actually small enough to get them, because they're really small. Whoa. This mud's quite deep, so I'll try and get this. Ah! Look how lucky we got. Oh no, I had a loach in there. There was actually a loach. Hold on, I'll try to get it again. That was these loaches that I wanted to show you guys, and I actually got them on the first scoop. Oh, what's this? I have no idea what kind of fish this is. Whoa. Is that some catfish? Actually, I'll put this in here for now. there's actually no loaches at that time, so I'll try and get loach. We'll show you guys that catfish in a bit. I'm not sure how that made it in there. Hold on, I've done this. That's pretty cool. That shouldn't be in here. Alright, so on that scoop, I actually caught a really nice smaragdina male. Really nice colour. Come closer. This is what they look like, fully coloured up. Oh. Really, really green. But we'll release this guy because we don't really need him. See this? There we go. There's a lot of wild bettas. And look, from that one scoop, I caught about 5 wild bettas, as you could see. But these are really small. So we were having no luck catching the loaches over there, so we moved over here. So hopefully there's some loaches just swimming around here in the weeds. I really want to show you guys what they look like, and hopefully we can get a croaking gourami as well. So let's go for the first scoop here. Maybe if we're lucky we might get a fish. Oh, there's a lot of mud, but is there any fish? There's actually nothing here. Just small wild bettas, but no loaches. So come back. Oh, here's a male wild betta. It's a nicely coloured male, nice tail pattern on him. Slightly spade tail actually. See? Really nice pattern on his tail, and he just jumped out my hand. I really don't want to make a part 2 to this video in search of these loaches. Keep getting wild bettas though, but no luck. So, obviously when you're diving into environment like this, you have to watch out for snakes, leeches, all other bugs that can bite you, and just got to be careful. So these are the red Tail Raz Boris that I was talking about. These guys swim around in little groups and they get along really well with wild bettas. So if you guys can get hold of these in your country or local fish store, I mean, they make good companions for wild bettas as they don't do each other any harms. If you can't, you could use species like cardinal tetras or neon tetras. That should be okay. Here's the other guy that I caught. I'm not really sure what this is. I'll research when I get home. Some of you guys may already know. It might be a type of barb, I'm not sure. It's pretty cool though. As I'm aware, any type of barb are pretty aggressive, so I wouldn't recommend them in a wild betta tank. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is a gourami. These should never be put with wild bettas because they are pretty aggressive and territorial, so those two do not mix. Sadly, I can't show you guys the loach that I was talking about because we didn't get any. It may be hard to get because my net was a bit too big, so they went through the holes of the net. So we might have to come back in our next video and show you guys those. I also caught that catfish at the start, but obviously this glass cube tipped over, so you know, I couldn't show you guys. These, when they settle, because I used to keep them in my main fish tank, have really nice green along their bodies. So neon tetras will be blue. These guys have that neon green kind of like on their sides. I'll try and get it in the camera, but they're pretty cool.